At Numerian Capital, we bring you the latest stock news each day. Please like and subscribe so we can bring these articles to you each day. Thank you. Today, May 22, 2023, dear Mullen stockholders, mark your calendars for June 12. Funding for Mullen has been delayed until June 12. Mullen Automotive will have to wait until June 12 to receive $45 million from an existing securities purchase agreement. The company had previously agreed to issue Series D preferred stock and warrants in exchange for the capital. Mullen stock is down by more than 80% year to date. Shares of Mullen Automotive, NASDAQ MULN, are in full focus after the electric vehicle company filed a Form 8-K, or Current Update Report. The 8-K disclosed that Mullen's reception of $45 million in connection with an existing securities purchase agreement would be pushed back from May 15 to June 12. Mullen had previously agreed to issue Series D preferred stock and warrants to the entities named in the securities purchase agreement, such as Asusa Holdings and Acuitas Capital, in exchange for $90 million. The Series D preferred stock is convertible into common stock. The warrants are equal to 185% of the Series D preferred stock purchased. $45 million of that $90 million was received on April 17. Mullen did not provide a reason for the delay, other than that Mullen and each of the buyers in the existing securities purchase agreement had agreed to delay the issuance of Series D preferred stock and warrants until Mullen receives the $45 million. Dear Mullen stock fans, mark your calendars for June 12. With Mullen on the verge of production, the company needs capital to get the ball rolling. Last week, Mullen reaffirmed that production for its Class 3 vehicle would begin in July. Meanwhile, deliveries and revenue collection would begin in August. Back in March, CEO David Michery released a statement that the $90 million from the existing securities purchase agreement and an additional $20 million from promissory notes would be enough to fund Mullen for the next 12 months. The full $110 million was expected to arrive by June 1. However, it looks like the last $45 million will now be received about 11 days late. The impact to Mullen based on the late funding is unknown, although an 11-day delay shouldn't be overly substantial. As noted in its last earnings report, Mullen had cash and cash equivalents of $60.3 million as of March 31. That was up from $54.08 million a year ago. It also had $26.4 million in restricted cash. Still, shareholders are responding negatively to the news. Mullen stock is down by more than 5% today, and at the time of writing, is hovering near the pivotal $1 threshold. Mullen recently announced that it traded above $1 for 10 consecutive business days. It is not yet clear if Mullen has regained NASDAQ compliance. Mullen shares fall below $1. Mullen stock just can't seem to stay above $1. Mullen Automotive stock has fallen below $1 again. The company had recently traded above $1 for 10 consecutive business days. Following a recent 1-for-25 reverse stock split, the price of Mullen Automotive appears to have regained NASDAQ's $1 minimum price requirement. The company echoed this in a press release soon after, stating that Mullen stock had traded above $1 from May 4, the day of the reverse split, to May 17, or for 10 consecutive business days. It also stated that it is awaiting confirmation from the exchange. However, an announcement that Mullen would have to wait until June 12 to receive $45 million from an existing securities purchase agreement seems to have shareholders worried. Today, Mullen stock fell back below $1, just a few days after its press release. Shares of Mullen have fallen to as low as 97.1 cents during intraday trading, marking a new reverse split adjusted 52-week low. Mullen shares fall below $1. So, what happens now? NASDAQ will send Mullen a deficiency notice if the closing price of Mullen stock trades below $1 for 30 consecutive business days, if it in fact regained compliance from May 4 to May 17. As of May 4, Mullen has not yet closed below $1. A deficiency notice would provide Mullen with an 180 calendar day period to regain compliance. Regaining compliance is generally defined as having a closing price of $1 or more for 10 consecutive business days. If Mullen stock fails to trade above $1 for 10 consecutive business days during the 180 calendar day compliance period, it could still be eligible for another 180-day extension. Per NASDAQ. A company listed on the NASDAQ Capital Market may be eligible for an additional 180-day compliance period if it meets the market value of publicly held shares requirement for continued listing, all other initial inclusion requirements for the capital market, except for the bid price requirement, and provides written notice that it intends to regain compliance with the bid price requirement during the second 180-day compliance period, by effecting a reverse stock split if necessary. Still, falling below the $1 threshold is extremely negative for Mullen because it adds another point of concern to management's plate. Even worse is that the company just regained the $1 minimum threshold, removing a major overhang which now seems to have returned. If the electric vehicle company is unable to gain compliance by the end of the second 180-day period, it will receive a delisting letter from NASDAQ. Mullen will then be eligible to request a hearing in front of NASDAQ's hearing panel, which will stay the delisting. Thanks for watching. Numerian Capital News. Please come back tomorrow for another stock news update. Thank you.